had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for the French Grand Prix, round number 8 of the season. If you guys did miss the last race at Canada, then do check out that episode by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen before we delve into spoilers for today's episode. As you can see, for this race we have an engine upgrade for just pure engine power on the exhaust, which is good. Our first performance related upgrade since I think Spain or Baku. It's been quite a while actually, yes, in Spain. So yeah, a little while now, but we've finally got some performance upgrades on the car. We've recently focused a little bit more on reliability, especially on the ICE and the MGUH, which were two parts of the engine which were really getting quite worn, and we had to really improve the wear on those two. But having said that, that's done now. We've got a little bit of extra performance on the car, and we're actually doing pretty well. However, Ferrari have brought a raft of upgrades of their own, and they're actually the fastest car this weekend around here. They've really stepped it back up. You know, I said to you guys in the last episode, we was waiting to see what they would do, and they've just out of nowhere turn up with a massive upgrade here, and they've overtaken us as the best car on the grid. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. For sure, it's going to be a very close battle, I feel, around this circuit. Paul Ricard's a track that, to be fair, in this year's game has been pretty good to me. I've always been pretty fast around it, and it's generally just been a good track and a good hunting ground for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. In Friday practice, you can see on screen right now, we went through the practice programs, and the only one we didn't do was the qualifying test, because I wanted to also not really use the engine, if possible, to try and make this one last as long as I can. And also, to be fair, we was only 10 points off the maximum 335 that were possible. So all in all, we wasn't going to get any points for it anyway. So I didn't think it was worth it. And also, I was running a worn engine because the engine I was using in practice was power unit number 1. So I knew I was risking it. Therefore, I decided to basically play it safe. And we switched to power unit 2 now for the rest of the weekend and for the foreseeable future going forward now. So hopefully we should have a nice bit of extra performance in the car, and, you know, a little bit more extra grunt on the straights to really push hard and find those extra tenths of a second when it comes to raw straight line speed. Because in the last race in Canada, I couldn't remember that for a second. For Canada, we definitely struggled on the straights quite badly with the engine at times, and you could tell cars were walking past us way too easily. But now we have this new engine in the car, and hopefully it will pay dividends for us in this qualifying session. First of all, though, we go out in Q1 on the super soft tyres. We go P13, 7/10 off the pace on our first run. We go back out, though, on a set of ultras because we dropped down to P14 on the bubble. And as expected, obviously, we have to account for the AI timing glitch where they find a lot of time. So I had to go back out and try and improve. And as you can see, I get a lovely slipstream here from Verstappen all the way down this straight as he gets out of my way. However, that was to get ruined by the car in front just a couple of corners later in the form of Pierre Gasly. Meanwhile, we are fastest through the first 2 sectors. But now going to sector 3, Gasly here turning right across me there and not getting out of my way. He's done his lap, and I don't need him to be in my way. I think he's in an out lap. I think his lap will be the next one round, so he could easily get out of my way. You can see a little bit of contact on the front left end plate, and still Gasly refusing to get out of my way. I'm luckily still 7/10 up on my previous best, as Gasly again really ruining my racing line, locking up into the final corner, and I tried to go for the overtake there, but he turned right across, and then eventually we finished the lap, still 7/10 up, and we do improve to P4, but that could have been a hell of a lot worse if I weren't careful. And Gasly ironically actually improved to go P7 in front of me, so he actually knocked me off my perch momentarily there. But all in all, that was Q1. We got to do a rare Q2 appearance, which was pretty damn good. And speaking of which, we went out on a set of fresh ultra soft tyres because I wanted to see how the car performed. Actually, no, tell a lie. These were the ultras that we used in Q1. Sorry, those were the ultras that we used in the second one in Q1 to basically have a fresh set for our second attempt. And you can really notice the difference with fresh ultras. And you can see on my second attempt we're 3/10 up already after 1 sector, and we're already P6. So this is looking pretty good for us if we can bring this one home. The time is about to run out in the top right hand corner of the screen there, so it's important to make this lap count as we go fastest through sector 2, and we are flying around this Paul Ricard circuit as we now go into sector 3 and the final couple of corners here. And it's all about, you know, threading the car nicely and taking it easy, really opening up this final corner and get on the traction as soon as possible. And it's a big improvement here. We're P7. Where do we go? We go P5, and that is a decent enough lap to see us through into the final part of qualifying. And, you know, a pretty decent Q3 appearance, one that I was very happy with. And I think my second successive Q3, so very happy with that one. And a great result for us all round, as you can see there. P5, actually ahead of Bottas as well, which was great news. So let's see what happens as we now jump into Q3. We're going to have 2 runs on the Ultras. And our first one, we just lost the back end there. You can see I got on the power. I tried to be cheeky and find a little bit more time. and I lost the back end, and that ruined my lap. I was actually on for a very strong lap as an opener. I still finished the lap time to get a reference point though on my delta for the first 2/3 of the lap on my final run, which is this one here. So let's ride on board and let's see how this lap goes. For turn 1, you want to brake just before the 50-meter board, so you're looking at the little space and tarmac right there, just before the curb starts again on the right. You want to turn in as a reference point, really let the car run out wide on the ragged edge as you now go down a little bit of a hill and brake just before the 50, down to 5th, and then later 4th gear for the left. Really bring the car across if you can, and then 3rd gear for this little tight hairpin apex. Let the car run out wide, then focus on your exit here. It's critical to really get as much speed as you can through that long right, opening up the left onto the back straight. We open up the DRS, and it's a pretty decent first sector. My first sector was definitely my strongest point of the racetrack, but now sector 2, do we find any more time? Brake after the 100-meter board, down to 5th gear, then later 4th. We take a big chunk out of that corner, so I actually got on the brakes a little bit more on purpose to get off the time that I gained, because I actually gained time, and I basically got on the brakes a little bit more just to make sure we kept the delta fair enough, and we didn't abuse, the track limits there. So lucky to get away with the corner cut penalty, but nonetheless, continuing on, we are currently still down on our time with only one more sector to go, and it's all or nothing in this final sector as Bottas goes fastest in the other Mercedes, and I'm wrestling the car around these corners here, and it's literally neck and neck, as you can see, only up by a fraction as we now go into the final couple of corners. All or nothing now, really about maximising lap time, opening up that final corner. I missed my apex slightly, but I got on the power very early, and that's going to benefit me as we open up the DRS. Obviously, that's where I made the mistake last time. We go across the line, and it's going to be P2 for qualifying in Q3. A very good performance. The Mercedes car working beautifully, and it's a 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz as Bottas obviously got pole before, and it's a Ferrari 3-4, extremely close between both the Silver Arrows and the Prancing Horses there in qualifying. But a great session for us, and hopefully we can convert into something more positive in the race tomorrow and potentially take away a race win. But with that being said, that's qualifying, and now let's move into the race for round 8, the French Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the circuit Paul Ricard, home of the French Grand Prix, home race of the Renault team, and of course a number of the drivers on the grid as well. Of the 14 races held here up until 1990, 5 were won by a Frenchman, and 4 of those, of course, were Alain Prost. I wonder who'll add their name to that winners list today. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and Martinez completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Sergio Perez, and Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Hartley, Magnussen, and Roman Grosjean. Ocon, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, and Leclerc, Ericsson, Van Dorn, Carlos Sainz, and Max Verstappen. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right then, here we are. It's race day at Paul Ricard, an all Mercedes front row. We've finally got a decent qualifying, and we managed to outfox the AI in terms of their glitchy pace. First time since Spain we've been able to do it properly and execute it to perfection and not get caught out in the qualifying sessions. We have both of the Ferraris behind us on the second row, so we've just edged them out. Even though Ferrari have re-overtaken us as the fastest car, we've still got a little bit more pace left in the tank, and we've put it on the front row. Bottas on pole, and I'm in second. In terms of the strategy today, we're going to go with the Ultras onto the softs and then onto the Supers. A custom strategy I've made. Originally it was Ultras, Supers, Supers, but I'm going for the softs, and the reason I'm choosing those is because I've got the one stop in mind. I might still go for a 1. It depends on my tyre wear and how I manage things, but if I can get into the lead of the race and try and manage it on the Ultras, then I might try and go a little bit longer to like lap 8 or something like that instead of lap 4, maybe even lap 9, and then try and do the rest of the race on softs. It's going to be a long one, a couple of different options. We'll see what happens. Fuel-wise, we are 1.5 laps over. But all in all, that's a strategy. Let's just see what happens here. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a chance to extend our championship lead and also wrap up a 1-2 for us and really close up the Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. But let's see what happens, and let's just jump into it. And it is time now for round number 8 for the French Grand Prix. Let's go. Right then, here we go. Let's try and get a good start here. We're going to get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. Not a terrible start by any means. I've had a lot worse. We're going to get Vettel, who's going to go down the inside into turn 1. We're going to try and hold on to 3rd place if possible. Seb makes the move. We lose a position. That's not too bad. That's one of my better starts, to be fair, on this game. So I can handle that. That's not a problem. We can definitely work on that. And this sector 1 is my strong point through here. This is where I know I'm strong. So we can get close to him. Sebastian is on super softs, so he will be on the back foot slightly when it comes to tyre performance, at least early on anyway. Here we go onto the back straight. Rich mix and overtake engaged. Can we get past Sebastian here? That Ferrari going very well on the straight, but we are gaining. Not enough though. And we're going to have to get out of it for now. Maybe we can pass him on this second straight if we can get a good exit. On the power early on, there we go. A lot better this time. Hopefully we'll get him once we go through the right hander. Closing the gap. Are we close enough? Not quite. I thought about lunging it in there, but patience is required. Let's just try and follow him. It's a long race. And strategy now is looking at that original 2-stopper like I mentioned, because I was hoping to get out front and get in the lead, and that way I could have gone for the 1 maybe and controlled my tyres, but instead we're down to P3. So let's see what happens here. Still a long way to go. I can still put off the 1 stop. Depends how my tyres wear out whilst being in dirty air. But that one is done and dusted in the books, and that is not too bad. Okay, this time we're a lot closer here. I'm going to try and take a bit of a different line. Try and stay a little bit tighter. This time Vettel won't be in hot lap ERS. At least not like lap 1. No DRS, but we are closer. Here we go. You can see Vettel's not running hot lap ERS. We've got a lot more speed this time. We pull to the inside. It's a comfortable move. And we get it done before the chicane. And we're now into 2nd place. Critical pass. Right kind of behind the other Ferrari was an Ultras. So it was important to get that overtake done. And we're now P2 in this race. Bottas fastest lap, 31.7. DRS is now enabled, so let's try and leave it in hot lap mode and try and pull away from Vettel if we can. And try and get that 1 second gap if possible. There we go, Seb's over a second behind. We've done what we needed to do. And a purple first sector. Now we can try and focus on getting back up to Bottas. There we go, 31.7. We matched Bottas' fastest lap of the race. And the gap has remained at 1.8. So now we're in the race pace, we're in the race here. Now it's all about strategy. If we want to be our teammate, this is the part now where I've got a little bit of clean air. I can maybe try and start to save my tyres and see if it pays off. Yellow flag behind there, I saw momentarily. Oh, Max Verstappen out of the race in the Red Bull. First big retirement on the Grand Prix. Tyre wear at the moment looking okay after 4 laps. I'm kind of evaluating my options here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm still thinking about it. Do I want to go for that 1 stopper? Okay, Valtteri comes in. So we're going to stay out here. I'm going to try and go long.
Valtteri is in the pits.
The longer I go now, the better. Valtteri will feed into traffic, I think. So it's important that we try and stay out a long time. Realistically, Vettel's a threat. The fact he's on super softs means he's going to 1-stop. And we need to try and match that as much as we can. We're going to keep going here. So far, things are going pretty well. You can see my tyre wear. My DRS is going offline as well. So that's another reason why I don't really want to come in, because I'm not going to have that advantage to getting past AI cars in those trains, and that's a big handicap. So without DRS, it's kind of like a no-no at the moment for me. So I'm kind of forced to stay out in a way, but I don't mind. The car still feels good. Lap times are still pretty decent, and Vettel's not really closing in. And then as long as he doesn't close in, I can stay out for as long as I like, because I'm racing Vettel here today, not Bottas. Oh, Vettel comes in. Interesting. Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane. If that's the cue for a 1-stopper, then that's earlier than I expected. Either way, we're going to keep on staying out here, at least for this lap. see my tyre temperatures, my front left was momentarily on the yellow, so we're kind of leaning on the edge of temperatures. I'm burning up a little bit of fuel now, and ERS, I'm going to come in this lap and commit to this one stop. Also, I probably could have done one more lap, and that's what I would have liked to have done, but I'm having to cover off Vettel just in case. I feel like Vettel might have gone for a 2-stop considering how early he came in, but I find myself having to cover him just in case. So here we go through the final couple of corners now. We're going to make our way into the pit lane for our first and only stop of the Grand Prix. Hopefully this works out. The soft tyre's always been a great tyre for me around this circuit historically, so I know what I can do. I just don't really know what I can do in terms of tyre life. Well, let's see. We're going to the pit lane, pretty damn good. A little bit of a lock-up. 2.6, not a spectacular stop by any means, but let's see what happens. It's a very long pit lane, this one, a very slow pit lane. It ends very late. I can see Bottas now going through the final corner along with a Ferrari. I'm going to guess that's Raikkonen and not Sebastian. But here we go then, up to speed very soon. Bottas fastest out. There's Leclerc, and there is Sebastian Vettel, and Seb is on super softs, so he's undercut me, but Sebastian is on a 2-stopper now, so I'm in unbeknownst territory on the 1-stop strategy now. So pretty much I'm not racing these guys in front. It's all about now getting these tyres to the end. I've come in a lap earlier than I should have done now, knowing that Vettel's gone for the 2-stopper. However, I'm going to commit to it and hopefully make it work. So it's all about now being very easy on these tyres and not ruining them. So patience is required, and it's going to be a very, very long stint. So let's make sure we keep these tyres in for as long as possible. That's what we're hoping for here. The Ferraris are definitely showing a lot better race pace than their World Qualifying pace. Vettel all over the back of Bottas in front. Meanwhile here, we've closed up to these two. Leclerc holding up Ricciardo. Let's see if we can try and get at least one of the two, maybe both of them, you never know. Ricciardo's going to have the overspeed. He's very close to Leclerc. We kind of couldn't find that traction as we go into the chicane. Let's see what happens. They both brake very late. Ricciardo very early actually compared to Leclerc. We're going to get the switch back on, and now we're going to be right on the back of the pair of them. We get a great bit of traction. Here we go. Slipstream on Ricciardo. We're going to pull to the inside into the fast right. We get the job done. We get past Leclerc as well down the inside, and it's a double overtake. There we go, as Bottas and Vettel now duke it out for P3. We've got past Leclerc and Ricciardo. Now we've got to try and, like I said, not cook these tyres. We've got to be patient. Forget the fact that Vettel and Bottas are battling here. We're not going to get involved unless they really lose a lot of time. At the moment, Leclerc's doing me a good job. He's keeping Ricciardo behind, and I'm keeping up very easily with Bottas and Vettel. If I was on a 2-stop now, I'd be in the lead of this Grand Prix. I'm quick around here. I'm driving at 70% of my pace, just trying to keep the tyres in. I'm trying to stay off curb as much as I can, and it's all about just smooth driving, to be honest. But I'm definitely fast around here. Vettel fastest lap, 31.2. We're a second off, 32.2, but like I said, I'm really not pushing. I'm basically trying to follow Bottas, but not get to the point where I'm in his dirty air that badly, or to the point where he goes defensive like that AI do sometimes and cost themselves time. I'm trying to do the best thing for the team here and just, you know, stay in position and only move when I have to. When Bottas comes in, I'll have a couple of laps then where I can push a little bit. But for now, like I said, I'm just trying to keep the tyres in the window, in the zone.
Some information on Vettel. They seem to have an issue.
Ooh, game changer. Vettel with problems in the Ferrari. Once again, reliability maybe. Just like in Baku, I think it was, when he had trouble with his car. So he might start going backwards. It seems like, unlike with Baku, it's not a permanent issue or a puncture. It might just be an engine component, maybe. Let's let go. Either way, that's good news for myself and Valtteri. Ericsson in the pit lane there. In the Sauber, he's on the 1-stop strategy, so that's going to benefit him. We've got Alonso, I think, out front in the McLaren. That's the only guy left to pit. Also on the 1-stop strategy. He should come in this lap. But right now, actually no, I think he just came in. No, that's okay, it's a lap McLaren. It's a lap McLaren because we're now P3, so never mind. Forget I said anything. We're now P3, and Vettel, you can see now visibly struggling as Bottas is all over the Ferrari man here. Might be time to get a couple of overtakes off. Ricciardo has got clear of Leclerc because Leclerc came in. But here goes Bottas, he flies past Sebastian Vettel, and we are not too far behind here to make this a Mercedes 1-2 into the chicane. Vettel brakes early.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
I'll look at it after, mate. We're going to get past Sebastian first. Here we go. overtake ERS, engage along with some rich mix. In the toe, that Ferrari is still going pretty well from the slipstream, on the straights at least. We are going to pull to the inside though, and get the job done on the brakes. Vettel not having that much confidence to turn in there. And we're now 1 and 2 for Mercedes-Benz, but Bottas leads the way. To be honest with you, I think I've probably even got the pace for a 2-stop. I am the fastest guy around here, and I'm keeping up with Bottas quite easily here. Obviously I've got DRS, but even without it I could still keep up. I mean, I could get past him if I wanted to within a lap, but I'm very happy to just sit here and basically wait for Bottas to come in, let him do his thing. There's my tyre weigh. You can see looking great so far. I've been on these tyres for about 7-8 laps now, and they're looking in great state, so no complaints on my end. Just driving super smooth, very little rotation on the steering wheel if I can avoid it, no wheel spin and no slides, just trying to keep it all very nice and clean. And there we go, Bottas comes in, and we're going to inherit the race lead here at Paul Ricard.
Valtteri is in for his stop.
Right then, now we can have a little bit of fun, maybe put in a couple of decent laps. Now we've got clean air, or then again, the more I think about it, we'll just keep on going at this pace. This pace is good. I don't need to go any faster. Ocon in P3 is my nearest challenger on the 1-stop, also on soft compound tyres, and he's behind Vettel now, so that's all we've got to worry about. And Ocon has now got past Sebastian Vettel into P2. So we've got a 6-second gap to the next man behind for position on the 1-stop strategy. These tyres will be a little bit fresher than mine, so he might come at me later on in the Grand Prix. So it's important that these laps are good and I don't drop any pace. Oh, safety car deployed. Where's that come from then? And what would that be for? Damn, that's an interesting one. That's going to be a bit of a game changer, to be honest with you. Oof, do we come in? I mean, my tyres are still good. Do I come in? I mean, I'm going to lose position to Bottas and Vettel, and I'm probably a hell of a lot of other people because of it. I'm not sure what to do now. If I do come in, I'm going to lose too many places. I'm going to lose a lot of places, I think, judging by the minimap. And because I'm driving to a Delta...
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Understood, copy that.
I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm kind of looking at the minimap and assessing my options at the minute. All these guys behind me, Ericsson, Ocon, they're all on 1-stoppers. So, I'm not sure. I need to think about it. Because I'm on a Delta right now. We're all driving to a Delta. But the second I drive past the start-finish line, the Delta's going to disappear and everyone can drive at full speed. I think I'm going to pit in. I've decided I'm going to come into the pit lane. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to risk it here. Hopefully it pays off. Here we go. This is bold. My gut would have said to me to basically drive on the softs and go to the end. You see the Delta's now gone, I think. I don't think they're driving to a Delta anymore. Hopefully we'll have the advantage of tyres. It's important in terms of track position where we rejoin. Here comes Bottas. He's going to come flying by. Hopefully we can rejoin behind. Up to speed. There we go. Right, okay. That's worked out okay. We're behind Bottas, but we are on fresh super softs. So that's not too bad. We're in a net P4 because everybody's going to the end now. However, we are going to be 4th place, and we're only got to get past Bottas realistically. The other two guys will be fairly easy. Ocon will lead in the Force India, which will be a little bit harder to do because that Force India is still a pretty quick car and he'll be hard to get by. But it's important that we get past Bottas very early on the restart. Ericsson there also in P2 again, and we've got a lap McLaren in the mix as well. But nonetheless, we're on fresh super softs. It's worked out better than I thought. I thought it was going to come out behind Vettel at least, and maybe even Raikkonen. I don't know what's happened to him, but it hasn't worked out that way. So yeah, let's do this. Right then, here we go. We're getting ready for the safety car restart here. Just trying to get a last bit of temperature in my tyres because this speed isn't fast enough and you lose temperature. But here we go. Let's get ready. Any second now we're going to get going. And there we go. That's the safety car bolts. Just taking it easy. Rear tyres are cold. Easy to lose the rear end. On the power, and there we go. We're back underway here at Paul Ricard. It's going to be 8 laps of frantic pace. Everybody's in the exact same straight. And we've got Van Dorn in there as the wild card, getting out of the way in the McLaren as he holds up Bottas. That's going to put him on the back foot. Van Dorn pulls over to the side, and there we go. We get through with no issues. And the top 4 lead away in towards the end of Sector 1. Ericsson's going to be the one on the back foot here, I think, in the Sauber. Can we put these super softs to use early on and try and make something happen? onto the back straight. No DRS just yet, so it's going to be hard to pass. Bottas running max engine modes here, getting a run on Marcus Ericsson. Let's watch this into the brake zone. Goes around the outside and pulls it off. Fantastic move from Valtteri there. Gets himself into second place. Now can we get past Marcus Ericsson? Maximum engine modes again, and it looks like it's not going to happen. That Sauber's dialed up to the max, and that car's bloody fast on the straights as well, just like this Mercedes, but that is even faster. Looks like Ericsson's going to sit in third for now. So we get very close here. Ocon's pulling away at the front. We can't let him get too far away because we need to get past him. Ericsson goes slightly defensive through here, but this is not my strongest. It's probably my weakest corner on the circuit. I'm kind of waiting for DRS to come enabled, but we're going to have to wait another lap for that. So it's all about maybe getting the move done here. Without DRS, we're going to get the run. I thought about it there into the final corner. Ericsson, though, pretty good on the brakes. On the power early on. Is Ericsson still running high engine modes? Let's find out. Bottas with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We can't get close enough to Ericsson to turn one. So we're just going to have to wait for now through the chicane. Let's feed the car through. Attack that apex, and there we go. Ericsson goes defensive. Quite heavily actually into the S section. Oh my god, I was so close to losing an end plate. I had to get on the brakes there. I just had to get on the brakes. Ericsson is so slow now in that Sauber. We're going to have to get him. Power down, there we go. This should be a fairly simple overtake. That Sauber's going to pull away a little bit on the straight, but we are going to pull it back even though we don't have DRS. Here we go. Gaining the momentum here. 340 Ks. We're going to pull to the right hand side. Around the outside just like Bottas, and that is the move done, and we are into P3. Now we've got to try and pull away and not let him get back past, otherwise we're going to waste time
Some
battling
information
here.
on Ericsson. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
That's unfortunate for him. Car trouble now for Ericsson. But anyway, let's get our head down and let's get after Bottas, and more importantly, let's get after Ocon. Ocon fastest lap of 31.1 in the Force India. Faster than everybody. We do a fastest final sector. But Ocon showing the pace. I'm going to keep it a rich mix now to really try and close the gap to Valtteri this lap. Hopefully we can nab some DRS if we can on the back straight away. There we go. We've got a great sector 1. 1.4 up on my previous personal best. I'm so strong through there. And we're both closing up to Ocon. We're gaining on Bottas though. Here we go in the slipstream. Not close enough for a move. Bottas goes defensive slightly, sorry. I'm going to try and set up my teammate though for the exit out of here. On the power early on. We've got this entire straight now and also the bend to try and close the gap to Bottas. Overtake, ERS engaged. Full beans pumping on this Mercedes. Not quite close enough though to get Bottas, at least not yet. Going through the double rights. We're going to have to sit behind him for a little bit longer here. Oh, VSC. Yellow flag. There was a yellow flag further down the order. Not sure what happened there, but a chance to save fuel and ERS yet again. We was on for a fast lap of the Grand Prix, which we're not going to get. And Lance Stroll out of the Grand Prix in the Williams there. If this VSC could go now, I'll get Bottas on the straight. These are precious laps and time that I'm wasting here to get after Ocon on these tyres, which are fresh, but they're not going to be fresh forever. Here we go, VSC ending. Let's time this. Let's get ready for the restart. We've got a second to gain, and there we go, up to speed. We've lost a little bit of time on the Delta, but it doesn't matter. We're racing again. Let's get after Bottas again, if we can. Are we close enough this time? Again, not really close enough. I'm not going to go for that lunge, not on my teammate anyway, so I'm going to have to sit behind and wait a little bit here. Hopefully I can get him on the pit straight. Bottas seems to have found a little bit of pace, which is good. I don't mind. He can drag me up to Ocon. And then I'll get both of them, hopefully. But I'm just too strong for this first sector. I know I'm too strong, so I'm going to get the run on him and get him onto the back straight, hopefully. Right then, here we go, up to speed. Bottas doesn't have DRS. I do. Here we go. What are we like compared to our teammate for horsepower? We shall find out. Around the outside. Ah, there it is. Great move. Again, around the outside, carrying the speed around my teammate. And we are past Bottas and into second place. With 3.5 laps to go. Can we catch Ocon? He's 1.7 up the road. Let's get our head down and try and chase after the Frenchman in his home Grand Prix. Fast up of the Grand Prix, a 1:30.4. It's game time. Okay, we just got DRS on Ocon there. 9/10 behind, and I'm also dragging Bottas along with me, which is good because hopefully he can get past Ocon as well for the team. But we are definitely starting to close up now to the Frenchman and put the pressure on. But his pace is strong, I can't lie, he's doing well on that soft tyre, I've got to give him credit. Another fastest lap, this time at 1:30.1. Bottas matches it, to his credit. But that's mainly because he's got a slipstream on me. Getting those extra Ks on the straight as we get our first corner cut of the Grand Prix. 2 laps to go. Can we get past Ocon here? It's all about keeping it nice and tidy now. We're right on the back of him. This should be the lap. Just got to have a little bit of patience through this section. Stay nice and close if we can. Open up the first part to really get the power down on the second one. Here we go. That Force India is probably the fastest car on the straight, so it's going to take a lot to get it. We know our power unit isn't the best, but here we go. We're gaining on him. Is it enough? Oh, wow. We have to get on the brakes mid-corner and avoid him. That's not going to help. On the power, we rejoin the circuit, but I'm going to be on the back foot here. Bottas is going to have a go at me. Ocon got on the brakes earlier than I expected, and it caught me off guard. Bottas on the inside line. I'm trying to go on the outside using maximum engine modes. We're going to just get it, I think. Bottas trying to hold it, but he just doesn't have the tyres for it. Right, we're going to have 1 lap left. We need to re-close the gap to Ocon if we can. Right, here we go again. Good first sector. Not my best, but we are back within DRS. It's not going to happen on this straight, so I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to look to close the gap and try and get him out of the chicane. There we go. Close him down. Focus on our exit. Wow, that Force India's got some great acceleration. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to try and close him down, but this is the last major overtaking spot on the circuit. And I'm about to run out of ERS as well. I don't think it's happening. Ocon's held on. Unless he has a terrible final couple of corners. No, it's not going to happen. I think I've also just run out of tyres. Wow, okay, fair play. So, Ocon is going to win the French Grand Prix, his home Grand Prix. We're going to come home for second place, which I don't mind. And Bottas is third. Tactically, though, and most importantly, we've both outscored the Ferraris. And that is all that matters. Fair play to Ocon. Congrats to him.
And an incredible win for Force India. A brilliant performance. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful Grand Prix, here come the top 3 out onto the podium.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Esteban Ocon wins his home race in Paul Ricard. We come home second ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Then we have Daniel Ricciardo P4, Kevin Magnussen, Brendan Hartley, Pierre Gasly, the other Frenchman in his home Grand Prix, Kimi Raikkonen only in 8th place there, Charles Leclerc and Romain Grosjean. And further down the order, Max Verstappen retires along with Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel P15. I don't know what happened there. I might have looked on the replay, but Vettel well out of the points. So that's going to mean for the Drivers' Championship, we are 20 points clear going into Austria, which is probably my strongest track of the entire season. So a great opportunity here to really put some daylight between ourselves and the competition. Bottas with that third place gets himself into third and extends his points lead over Raikkonen. And in terms of the constructors, we now lead by 34 points over Ferrari and really put some daylight between ourselves in the championships there. All in all, a great race here at Paul Ricard, but now let's move into the laptop.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Well, thanks anyway.
Right, so first of all, I had a look. Turns out Sebastian Vettel basically, with the 2-stop, put himself way down the order. He came in during that safety car, didn't work out, and he was P15 and couldn't get through the traffic. Now, in terms of what we have on the laptop, we have contract negotiation here. We haven't scored the target, which was 600 points, extra R&D points, and if we'd scored 40 points in the championship, we only scored 30. Still, that's not the end of the world, and we've got quite a bit higher value now, so we can actually negotiate a bit of a better contract. So let's see what we can try and do. Right, so a quick overview. We have qualifying position 8th, race position 3rd, first driver and hard goals with level 3 on everything except for pit stop efficiency, which is on level 1. Let's see what they say to this first offer.
They aren't coming round to that proposal. Let's try something else.
Right, fair enough, so that's not working. So we will go pit stop efficiency on none. Let's see what they say to that.
We're asking for too much here. We need to make some compromises.
Right, so we will get rid of simultaneous development, we'll put that on level 2, and pit stop efficiency, we'll leave it on none. We need to make sure this one goes through. Let's see what they say to this one.
Okay, that proposal looks good. It seems all parties are happy with the deal, so it'll commence the next race weekend.
Right, there we go. So pretty much the same contract as before. The only difference is the upgrade speed has gone from level 2 to level 3. Now, in terms of R&D progress, if we look at things here, everything's looking pretty damn good. You know, in the aero side of things, as you can see, we are still the top team. McLaren actually second. And then in terms of the chassis, we are now second. Ferrari were the ones who were bringing big upgrades for the chassis, and they've taken a step forward. However, we're still not panic stations yet. We're still second, quite comfortably ahead of Toro Rosso. We need to work on the engine because, you know, we need to really step up the level. We got an upgrade this weekend for power, for just raw power. Now we can choose, obviously, the ultimate one is a bit far away. I'm going to work to that next. But can I get this major one? Not quite. I'm 100 points off. So I think I'm going to wait. Considering we're going to Austria, and that's my best track, my strongest track, I don't necessarily need upgrades for that race. And to be fair, I want to work on the engine. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait, save those 1,300 points, and then at the end of the next episode, we're actually going to buy the ultimate engine upgrade and get that on the car and then work towards the major. So we're going to flip it around and hopefully it works out. So all in all, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, then please do drop a like on the video. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.